This is Dave the Professor and PT Jen with the newly rebranded PT and the Professor podcast. It's been a minute. Jen, what have you been up to?
Well, you're right. We came to you last right before we were headed to the U.S. Open. We had a blast at the U.S. Open week, my favorite pickleball week of the year. And oh my goodness, we've had the draft for our season. MLP merged with the MLP champions. APP season is in full swing. We're headed to Cincinnati this weekend. Both of us had kids graduate college, so it's been busy, but we're ready to go full steam into the summer season. But what I'm most excited about today is our guest. Okay, we have all kinds of guests on, but not only is he a pro pickleball player and he owns his own pickleball team, he's an awesome actor, and he's one of my besties, our dear friend, Michael. So, Michael.
What's up, guys? Hey.
Hey.
Michael, what up? She totally stole that introduction from me. Like, I asked what she had been up to. She went blah, blah, blah. And then she totally stole the introduction, just so everyone knows.
It's boring. Nobody wants to hear about like kids and all that stuff.
It's like those forehands in the middle, right? Next thing you know, you're setting up. Next thing you know, boom.
When I push him out of the way.
Right.
Like, don't even think about it, Dave.
Elbows me out of the way so she could take it.
You just get on up there and start
Speaking of
thinking.
which, Michael, you've performed in front of the cameras, you've competed in tournaments, even live stage work, and now our podcast. What makes you the most nervous?
That's a tough one. It could be this, with all our friends watching and kind of giving all their deep down secrets. I don't know. It's live theater. I think live theater is the toughest.
We were there for your opening night in Boston.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's hard because you can't, once the show starts, you are on a roll. There's no like calling cut. There's no all right, let me pause this podcast for a second, and you're there, and you got to find your way out. If you forget lines, you got to figure it out with another person. It's a lot easier being at 25, with lines, but at 50 plus with lines, that's a little bit different. And you can't hide, right? You're 360. If you're on stage, you're even if you're not saying lines, people are watching you. You're watching from all angles. There's no hiding in theater. So to me, that's the most nervous.
I was nervous for you. I mean, I can't believe you were doing that emotional stuff in front of everyone. There's no Angela, the producer. This is actually our 17th take. People just don't know that, who fixes it in post. But that was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, was that play the most nervous you've been?
No, not that play. No, that play actually was kind of fun. But earlier on, when I wasn't, I used to do a lot of theater. I took a break for like 6 or 7 years, but I used to do theater a lot more. And back then, my prep work was a little different. I was still in my 40s, and I remember there's some few times I'm just blank. I'd just be out there. I see the audience. I look at my. There's a few times I came on as a character, a last minute replacement on one of my plays, and there's still tons of lines. And I just remembered it wasn't sunk in yet. And then I remember seeing there, looking at my castmate like on the stage, just her and I, and whatever, 350 people like right in front, and I blanked. I literally blanked. I did not know what to do, and I couldn't get myself out of it. My mind was not like, all right, let me think through where we were. There was nothing. And the castmate saw the fear in my eyes, and you could see them start to get nervous. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, remember this," and they got me out of it. I'm like, phew, whew. But
they just kind of fed you the next line. Yeah.
If they didn't help me, I would have stood there for 20 minutes. The thing about it though, when you forget lines in theater, I forget. No, people have not seen the show, so this is the first time they see the show. And if you kind of do things right, you can. There are pauses. There are times where you have the silences, and so they don't know usually a lot of times when you miss something, and so the part of it is kind of playing it off. But that was tough.
Do these experiences?
You were the lead of this play. You had copious amount of dialogue. You were on there on stage by yourself sometimes, so there was a lot to memorize. So is there like a technique that you use? With like you said, when you got nervous up on stage. How does that translate at all to maybe when you are heading into a third set of an important match that you get nervous for what? David's going like this.
You cut me off to ask the same question.
That's such a great question, Jen. I know you.
Thank you. Thanks, Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
The mental stuff's not all you, David.
No, unfortunately, my mental game for acting is pretty good.
Okay.
And I feel experienced. I feel like when I'm up there, I kind of know what to do. I know how to calm the nerves down. Unfortunately, it doesn't really translate over into for me for pickleball. I mean, obviously to some degree, right? We play senior pro, but to some degree, yes. But to me, my mental game in pickleball is not equal to the level of my mental game in acting, and I should work on it. That's something to think about.
Well, we should probably let you introduce yourself, go back a little bit. Jen usually gives our guest 1 minute but since you're one of our favorite people, and we don't always agree on that we're going to give you 1 minute and 15 seconds.
I said 3 minutes. Michael, that's rude. David's rude. I'm sorry. You take as long as you want. You have a more interesting bio than we do.
Okay, so Michael Toe, I live in Massachusetts. I have 3 daughters. We're longtime Massachusetts residents. Grew up in Boston, and been here my whole life. Started acting in my 30s, 33. I was a background actor for the movie Departed, Martin Scorsese, and
I know
hell of a
that
start.
movie. My favorite actor, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, yeah, we have some stories about that, and that's how it started. So, but I own a financial planning company. I still do that now. I'm a CFP. I've owned that. I've done that for 30 plus years, and that I still do it, but I have people helping me running it. So it's really the acting stuff was really the other side of the brain that I really wanted to do, and then at some point in COVID, it started. Acting shut down, like as the rest of the world did. Mm-hmm. And the stuff that I needed from acting to kind of balance off my finance stuff wasn't there anymore, or paused for a bit. And so then found this game of pickleball, and that's kind of jumped in now. And so, I've been kind of, I played, tennis a year in college and went to Division I, and went to pick up this game, and now it's pickleball is helping me take the break from acting, which is helping me take a break from finance. So I own the Boston Dragons, a team in the USLPL, and yeah, so much fun.
Have you had a moment where you're kind of on the set and you're looking around and you see some famous people and you're like, I can't believe I'm actually doing this?
Yeah. Well, yeah, no doubt the Landman stuff with Demi Moore.
That's what I was thinking.
Demi Moore was
Billy Bob. Yeah.
Billy Bob to me he's just kind of more like I love Billy Bob Thornton, but he's more down to earth. He wasn't, he's more like I don't know. You can relate to him. Demi Moore is a different story. I mean, Demi Moore was, 16-year-old me looking over on the right, seeing the poster and remember, striptease and thinking, oh my God, all that kind of stuff.
No, St. Elmo's Fire, not striptease.
We don't need to go there. But it was, and then just to be able to see her, on set I'm like, wow. I mean, it couldn't get bigger for me than Demi Moore. Cool. And I remember being she's older, obviously than kind of the image that I kind of had. But I remember we were in the kind of the van that we had on the way back, and she was on the seat in front with her dog, and I was in the back, and we're kind of having this conversation, but when not seeing her and then hearing her voice with the raspiness.
Yeah.
I'm like back there. I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. I mean, so that was a big thing. Another one was not person wise, but I did a show in Budapest. It was FBI International, and it was this scene at an airport, and so like a huge airport, tons of cars, tons of people, all this stuff happening, and I was on the phone with the kind of the main FBI team and having this conversation. Well, the thing that, back to your question, Dave, is it was not an airport. It was all a set. It was the
Oh, wow.
second floor of a major stadium, sports stadium out in Budapest. And the whole scene, everything, all the people, all the lights, all the sounds of the,
Wow.
all the taxi people, all the people who were like the travelers coming in and out, all the people working there, was all for the set. And the whole thing focused on my conversation with the FBI team. And but sometimes you forget about it, and then and they say cut, and then all of a sudden the cars stop, all everything like freezes, and then you kind of set back up, like whoa, at some point. So that was kind of cool, and things like that are pretty neat.
I mean, you have so much range. We watched one time we were all at a pickleball tournament. We watched you like on a SVU. You like were like, that's you, and you're like an old guy. And then you were like look super young in the next one. And then you were a banana in Hocus Pocus. Remember when you were in that banana suit in that one? So you have like done comedy, you've done serious, intense drama, and then obviously with the Landman, you're memorizing all this medical dialogue in that scene. So you're very versatile, because you don't even look like you sometimes in some of these roles. Like that's you. So
Well,
it's so fun to see you in these roles.
well, to follow up on Jen's notice that you've played many different roles, I know we've talked about this a little bit, and you've talked about this just in general, the idea of navigating stereotypes and representation in Hollywood and even outside of Hollywood. I wonder if you could say a little bit about that, especially from your personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, part of it growing up in the '80s, in the U.S. you had things like Long Duck Dong, and you have like Full Metal Jacket with Love Me Long Time, and you have things like uh, you know short round from Indiana Jones series.
Yeah.
Like you're always like side characters. So it was the chance for me. There's some people who like most people a lot of times when they say that they couldn't believe that they wanted to be an actor, they really couldn't believe it, and then all of a sudden they did. To me, it was another level of that. It was just not even that I was not nothing to do with acting really, other than like plays as a kid, but to actually I didn't see anybody who was really like me on screen, and if they were kind of like side characters. That's it. And so it was never a reality, and it wasn't until so to me that was always a big thing. And when I had the opportunity to actually realize that I could actually do this, that my goal was to really be, all right, if I get a chance to be at a seat at the table, not the lower level rung where I had no power, but to a point where I can actually get to that seat at the table, I want to change things. I want to be able to represent characters who look like me in different ranges, good, bad, much more layered, much more deeper, full dimensional characters, not just a one note, side note. And so it has changed a lot, but it hasn't been easy. And it doesn't mean that will always continue. Like, as we've, can see that sometimes, all of a sudden things can kind of turn the other way. So to me, I kind of want to always kind of push forward for representation.
Tell us about
And
Boston
what you
Dragon.
mentioned earlier, yeah, go
Go
ahead
ahead.
and tell us about the Boston Dragons.
Your combine. You have a combine coming up, a draft.
Yeah, so but yeah, Boston Dragons, we had our first year last year, our USLPL. Dragons
Tell people
are,
really quick, so everyone doesn't know about national. So you with the other owners started a pickleball pro
yeah,
pickleball.
no, I didn't start it. The league was already set, and they were
Okay.
looking for team owners to buy teams. And to me, this pickleball. When I jump into something just like acting,
Yeah.
I go full in. There's no halfway with me. When I'm in, I'm in, and it's all encompassing. It's not just about playing tons. It's the analysis. It's the training. It's all. I go
All
really
parts. Yeah.
really, as you guys know, I really work really hard to improve, to get better. And it's very parallel to the acting path. A guy out of, Asian kid out of Boston, to become, to get on the screen for movies and TV, it was, broke a lot of odds. same kind of thing of playing a pro sport. Now, pickleball may be a little bit easier than some other sports. Maybe a 50 plus league helps that, but and to own a team, right? Kind of cool. So I don't know, it's awesome. It's great. I love to be able to. I'm very much of a team player. Much more about like improving and training and getting better. And it's very similar to what I did with acting. I have started acting groups where the big part of it was helping each other, because there's so many times when you act and everyone's like, oh, great, good job, and kind of being very supportive. But to me, sometimes that wasn't always the best. Sometimes the critique and being able to say, well, hey, every time you do that, you're like blinking tons. And when you do the serious scene, you're blinking all the time. People don't want to say it, and they just say it's, oh, so nice. That's the easy way out. I've never been kind of like that. I rather like, hey, you can't, how can you improve if you don't really figure out where the areas you need to improve on? And then if you figure that out, that's half the battle. But sometimes people are kind of fragile to be able to take that advice. But I do that same thing on the pickleball side, and I do that for the Dragons. We do a lot of practice, a lot of drilling. It's pretty direct, in terms of, whether or not it's me or some other people on the team, or we have other pros who come in and watch some of our players to give advice. To me, that's how players improve. And it's not just about doing the same thing again and again and again, and everyone kind of not really acknowledging where they really need to work on. So
Right.
It's fun. It's fun having that camaraderie and mission.
Oh, definitely. Well, speaking of fun, let's do a little fun segment for a minute. Okay, so I like to do something that's called like fast hands.
The boring kind of stuff, and then Jen's the fun stuff.
Yeah, we leave. He'll probably ask you another philosophical question, or
That's the way I saw it, but she literally says what you said, Michael. Right? She goes,
fun,
get rid of your
David.
boring stuff and then fun stuff. She literally pushed me out of the screen.
different definitions of
All right,
fun. Okay, Michael, this is just quick. Okay, I'm going to ask you quick questions. Just answer what first comes to your mind. Okay, you could only win a gold medal at US Open or get a lead role in a movie.
Lead role.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Dream pickleball partner or your dream co-star? I guess it's not either or. Tell me who your dream pickleball partner is.
Partner. Agiga.
Oh, who?
Well, really, you don't know?
Who?
That was Flash.
Oh, okay. And what about dream co-star?
Dream co-star Tom Cruise.
Oh, cool. Okay, your personal goat in pickleball and in acting.
Pickleball goat. I would say Anna Bright.
Okay.
That she's doing off the court as well as on the court, and I look at some of her
cool.
teaching stuff. So cool. And acting. Kind of boring, but Meryl Streep. I think a lot of people.
Oh, that's not boring. She's incredible.
She's incredible. I think that's a standard answer. She's so good.
Okay, the Dink movie is coming up. It's the first big movie production, featuring pickleball. If you had to choose one of the cast members to be your partner, there's Mary Steenburgen, there's Ben Stiller, I think Andy Roddick is in it. Who do you pick to be your partner in a tournament, mixed or gender?
Wait, so from that movie?
Yeah, one of the cast members. If you could have one of
the cast members. So you said Ben Stiller, Mary Steenburgen.
Yep, she's in it. I think Andy Roddick is in it. I think McEnroe's in it. It's going to be an awesome movie.
I mean, I think it's got to be Ben Stiller.
Yeah, of course. Like Dodgeball. I mean, this is going to be a fun movie. You should have tried out for that movie.
Yeah, so they actually, this is where they think about the sport. They think, for pickleball, how they like pick, people have to train all this time. They in the film industry, they think pickleball people are like non-athletic. So my friend who's one of my, he's never played pickleball at all, and he's on this like pickleball campaign for, and you see it's like ridiculous. They have the shows of like, these are the perfect shoes for serving, and they slow motion on the shoe, and you see them like, or a perfect pickleball shoe, and they're like stepping on the line as a certain where's the truth there? Where's the people who actually can play pickleball to do that? But they don't. They pick anybody, and they just kind of think they can cut around it. And
I think Beth and a few of our senior pro friends maybe have little cameos or were involved.
Oh, that's cool.
But I don't think they were the, maybe just some little playing pieces. But I know I'll be interested to see. That'll be fun for sure. That's okay. I'll leave it at that. With that.
Well, I got one for you. So you've been in multiple Taylor Sheraton shows. If not just your involvement or your acting in it, what do you just think is the best show of his?
I like Linus.
I agree. I think
Oh,
it's
I
fine.
just started it. I just started it.
It's so cool. I mean, it's like, kind of, the kind of action stuff, CIA, CIA kind of covert kind of, things. You can't go wrong when you have Nicole Kidman and Zoe Saldana in it.
Yeah,
It's,
Zoe's she's so
yeah,
cool. So good.
yeah, and
Well, wait, were the precursors, so Yellowstone, like 1923, they were Taylor as well, right?
yeah,
Because I
1923.
mean, have you, Spencer, Brendan Sklar? I mean,
Really?
that was
All
my
right.
favorite one.
I lost. I had 5 minutes before you mentioned him, and we've gone like 25 minutes. So
My
I lost
sister's
that bet.
in, the entertainment world as well, my twin sister, and she interviewed him recently. And she's like, well, so Brandon, I have to tell you, my sister's not playing pickleball. She talks about 1923, and she's like, that's Spencer. He's my type. And she's like, well, Jen, he's everyone's type. So that was kind of funny. He's a
That's
great
my
guy.
goal, actually, to be interviewed by his sister for her show.
Yeah, we should have her on this. Yeah. Well, we'll go out to Vegas for one of the, a PPA or one of these movie premieres for sure. And
Yeah,
All right,
maybe.
she's not
Michael.
very good at pickleball, though. She still plays tennis.
All right, Michael. I have a question from one of our listeners, and by listeners, I mean our first guest on the show, Ryler DeHart, just texted me when I told him we're doing this, and I told him so. I asked him about pre-match rituals. Do you have any pre-match rituals, either on the pickleball court or to prepare for a scene in acting, or do you view those enterprises as completely different?
Yeah, so I for acting, it's I really have to kind of get in the zone. So to get in the scene, get in the character, I have to kind of I go in the corner. People having it's so much fun with the famous people there and all the all the food and all the stuff and all the it's like a party for a scene. But to me, a lot of times I kind of have to separate and go in the kind of corner and really get myself focused. I wish I was as just disciplined as others like Ryler, who pre-match stuff. But for pickleball, it's really trying to, and I'm trying to do this, is actually trying to really have a few things that I really want to work on. And I have a very good coach, David, thank you. And so, for example, I try to focus on a few different things, whether or not it's moving my feet more, whether or not it's really kind of getting those dinks a little bit more aggressive, but really kind of stay for a few different things. I can't add too many things in in it, otherwise it clouds it. Which is different than acting. Acting is you have do a lot of things, which is all the lines. So it's your brain is working differently, even though it's kind of a pressure scenario in both. It is a different style there.
Definitely. Well, fun. When we're all together this weekend,
Yes.
Cincinnati. I really hope we don't play each other first. That's the worst. You go all these to these tournaments, and then you look at the draw and you have a friend first round. But it's gonna be fun.
I'm ready for my breakout. I've been training really hard, kind of
Good.
going through ups and downs. I feel a little disrespected by some. I'm ready to kick some ass.
That's good motivation for sure.
Stay hard.
That'll be
Yeah,
our great. That'll be
Ryler.
our social media.
Yeah, you quote
clip.
Ryler. Stay hard. I don't think that guy's missed a workout all year. I think he's literally gone every single day.
He has.
I cannot say the same. Trying.
So that'll be fun. It's Cincinnati.
Yeah, it'll be fun. David, you got anything else to wrap up? Any little philosophical moments or thoughts or advice?
Do I have any philosophical moments, especially when you describe it like that? There's no way I'm going to give you one now.
It's only been
So
4 years
rude.
we played together. I don't listen anyway.
Yeah, I was starting to say you're not going to listen.
Yes, I will. Well, thank you so much for being on, Michael. We're so excited for the season, and APP is just starting. The summer season is going to be packed and fun, and you're a dear
Yeah.
friend to us, and an amazing actor and advocate and pickleball player. So
Yeah, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate having me on, and I look forward to seeing you guys in Cincinnati and the rest of the year.
Thanks, buddy.
thanks so much.